All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedules to join us for our February Hot Topic session called Unlock Your Edge. For those of you I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, my name is Wesley Stefanik, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Delaware Association of Realtors. It's truly great to see so many of you investing in your own growth and professional development. That commitment, especially in a shifting market, is what separates good from exceptional. Today's session is designed to be practical, focused, and immediately valuable. The idea behind Unlock Your Edge is simple. In a competitive and involving industry, small advantages in strategy, mindset, and execution can create meaningful advantages. Our goal is to help you identify those advantages and put them to work right away. A few quick housekeeping items. This session is being recorded so that those who are unable to attend live can watch it later on our website. Just visit delawarerealtor.com. We also want this session to be interactive. There will be time for questions, so please feel free to ask them as we go in the chat. As always, we respect your time. We promise to keep the hot topic sessions under an hour usually, and we're hopefully going to do that today. But with that, let's get started. I'd like to welcome Pamela Brookstein, who will take it from here. Welcome, Pamela.
Thank you very much. I want to start out by talking about who I am and where I'm from and why what I'll be talking about matters to you and your business, and then what the problem is. But I always like to talk about the solution to that problem. So, Pearl is a firm that is looking to make sure that everyone lives in homes that are safe and comfortable and affordable and resilient, and that when they make upgrades that gives them that experience, those homes are valued for more in the real estate market. My name is Pamela Brookstein, and I work for Pearl, but I have been working at the intersection of real estate and energy efficiency for the last decade. I have been doing research with real estate agents and home buyers and sellers and talking to them about energy efficiency and real estate. And I'm going to back up exactly what Drew said, which is learning about this, I truly believe can help you grow your business and differentiate, stay ahead of the curve, sell strategically. And accidentally, I think it does make the world a better place. And to have all of those things together is a wonderful thing. If people are willing to put in the chat what you think of when you hear that a home is green or energy efficient, or if you just want to say it out loud, that's always a good place for me to start. Let's see if I can pull up the chat. And unfortunately, I cannot see the chat, so I do not know
I
if
can read
anyone
some off. Yeah, I can
can.
read some off to you.
Okay,
Yep. So
please.
one said solar panels, another one said low utility bills. And that's what we have so far.
That's
Lower
it.
energy bills compared to traditional buildings, healthy indoor air.
Oh, that's a good one. Healthy indoor air. That's great. I love all of these. Anything else?
That looks like it's it.
Okay. All right. So that's a really interesting selection of things because most people, most of the time when I ask this question, I get features about about the home, and I rarely get healthier indoor air. So I would love to meet the person that said that. But we're going to talk about this and how this relates. So I think we all know when people buy or sell a home, we're mostly talking about price, location, and aesthetics of that home. I just bought this house 2 years ago. Those were the exact things that I talked to my real estate agent about. I don't want to be Pollyanna-ish about talking about energy efficiency or solar production as the number one thing that homebuyers are looking for, because I focused on price, location, and aesthetics as well. I'll tell a little bit of a story later, though, about how just accidentally knowing about some of the things I'm going to talk about helped me. Because I really do believe there is a missing topic in real estate, and it's about home performance, which is much bigger than just talking about energy efficiency. So it's about not just how a home looks, but how a home performs for the people that are living there, the experience that it provides for those homeowners. So things like this. How does the home protect health? Somebody mentioned healthier indoor air. How comfortable is that house year round? You have a lot of humidity in Delaware over the summer. How comfortable is the house over the full year? How affordable is the house when we look at utility costs? And you also have I know there's been quite a bit of flooding there. How well is that home protecting you against weather? And as someone brought up, solar, does that house generate energy for you or not, to help control utility costs and help with resiliency? All right. So why do these things matter? Because I just said that when I went to buy this house, pretty much focused on price, location, and aesthetics. I knew I wanted at least 2 bedrooms. I wanted a nicer kitchen because I cook a lot. But I knew about some other things to look for. And I thought I'd start with what's going on in the market, which you probably know already. Potential 55% of potential buyers say they don't make enough money to afford a home, which makes me very, very sad. I have a 26-year-old daughter who desperately, in her 5-year plan, wants to buy a home and isn't sure that she can do that. We know that non-mortgage costs are going up, insurance premiums are going up, utility bills are going up. This is the backdrop about why it can be so important to start bringing up, especially with your buyers, what it might really cost to live in a house. But here's the other thing. I don't know if anybody's taken a look at the Home Buyers and Sellers Generational Trends Report. I look forward to the release of this every year. I think it has incredible information. And year after year, this result comes out. And that is that the second thing that buyers say, the second most important thing that buyers say they want from their real estate agent is to point out unnoticed features and faults in the property. So this house that I bought, even though I was looking for those 3 main things previously, it was a hot market. Homes were moving really quickly. I had a price point that I wanted to spend on this home. But as I had toured it, I noticed that the homeowner had done some upgrades that were going to affect the performance of this home. Everything in the house was above code. She had put in extra insulation in the attic. All of the appliances were Energy Star. And so I ended up paying more for this house because there was a little bidding war than I had wanted to, because I was pretty sure this was going to be a well-maintained home. And I've now lived here 2 years, and I can absolutely say that this was a loved and well-maintained home by someone who knew what she was doing as she made upgrades. So my real estate agent wasn't able to point out those upgrades, but I was, which made that lucky for me. But here's why this matters. I told you up top that I've been doing focus groups with home buyers and sellers and real estate agents over the last almost decade. And recent home buyers say again and again that they wish their agents had educated them on performance upgrades. We get to this question by asking sort of what their problems are since they've moved in. What are some of the things they're dealing with? We give them a little bit of education on home performance upgrades and what the benefits are of those home performance upgrades. And people say to a person, they really wished someone had talked to them about the total cost of home ownership, about how uncomfortable a house could be all year long. We mostly try to talk to first-time home buyers. And it's a really interesting group of people. That's one of the papers I wrote about this. Feel free to look it up. You would be maybe like the third person that ever does so. So that would be exciting for me. And again, so I really do believe that when you can speak confidently about how a home performs, not just how it shows, you bring something different to the conversation. And I get to work with real estate agents across the country that are doing this. And it's really fun to see and exciting to see the relationship that they have with their clients and the information that they're able to share. All right. So I told you I would tell you what the problem was. This is the problem. This is the house that I moved out of after 27 years. And the MLS photo, the photo of my house, does not show the experience that I had in that 110-year-old bungalow. My house looks very similar to my old house, looks very similar to most of the homes on the block. And you cannot tell that I had insulation blown into the exterior walls, that I went above code with the addition of insulation and air sealing in the attic, that my furnace was incredibly highly efficient. So you can't tell that by looking at that house, which is a shame if we're not marketing those upgrades. So I'm going to talk about what the solution is to that problem. And that is that Pearl scored 93 million single family homes across the country on 5 different measures of home performance. So safety and comfort, operations, which is utility bills, resilience, how well the home works for you when there's a hard rainstorm. Here, I'm in Chicago. We deal with pretty cold weather and really humid weather in the summer. So how well is that home keeping me comfortable and standing up to the increased rains that we're having? And then also, does my home generate its own energy? So the score comes about by using public data. Right now, it's about 700 points of publicly available data. And people can go into the registry and add their own upgrades. So for instance, the house that I sold, I went in and I added all of the upgrades that I had done over the years with the air sealing and insulation, with the duct sealing that I did, all things that nobody is really looking for because nobody asked to see my incredibly well-sealed ducts in the house. But at least that data was gathered someplace. And I was able to bring up the score that I had and then build that into the real estate transaction. And I told you that my real estate agent, who I have been friends with now since I bought that house, so 27 years ago, doesn't really know that much about home performance and would not have felt comfortable marketing those upgrades that we had done to my house. And so Pearl provided a packet of marketing materials that he could use that we had out and about at the house to call out the insulation that was blown into the walls, that were completely empty because the house was 110 years old. But to call out not just the feature, but the benefits, which was that my home had cleaner indoor air. My home was more comfortable room to room after I had made all of those upgrades. And I had more stable energy bills, even though the cost of energy is going up because all of my appliances use less. I was able to keep my bills much lower than a lot of my neighbors. We were a close-knit block, and we used to talk about things like that. So that's what I mean by helping you tell the full story of a house. I mean, this house that I bought, it has a lovely kitchen. It has a cute deck. I love the little garden in the backyard, but I can see all those things. And that's only part of the story about this house. This house is providing me a really lovely experience because of how it feels day to day. If you're interested in learning more, Pearl is in the process of creating new tools to help agents build home performance into their business, both on the listing and on the buying side. And we're creating materials to help you stay in touch with your sphere of influence while they're in between those two cycles of buying and selling. And if you're interested in helping to develop these things, you can join the early access program. There's the QR code. You'll receive free and discounted access to the tools that will help real estate agents, build their business and really differentiate and provide different experiences to your buyers and sellers. And I think most of all, and I talk to a lot of real estate agents, and you like your clients a lot. Some of you are probably really love your clients and become friends with them, and you want them to be successful in their home ownership. And I really believe that, and I know from experience that when people start to make those upgrades, they can feel different in a house. And then on my side, when I sold that house, I priced it for more than comps would have suggested, and that I got what I wanted from that price point, even though so the buyers paid for it, the appraiser gave it value, and everything went smoothly. I'm not going to promise that always happens because it's real estate, but I've seen this enough to know that that Pearl and the materials that we provide can make a difference. So I wanted to say thank you for listening. And I think we're saving questions until the end if you have questions. And I am going to hand this over to Drew Slater, who's the CEO at Energize Delaware.
Thank you. I'm going to try and share my screen.
I'm going to stop share.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Drew Slater. I'm the Executive Director of Energize Delaware. We focus on energy efficiency and renewable energy, whether it's residential, commercial, or industrial programs. Real quick about us, we're funded through the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. Our admin costs are covered through interest from loans. We don't have admin costs on program partnerships like those with utilities. And as of 2024, we've saved more than $650 million in energy savings, which nearly nets out Delaware's entire residential housing stock for a single year. So, before, I have a set of questions. I sort of tried to answer them on my own, but are utility costs a driving factor for buyers? You may say maybe not. However, as energy costs are discussed more nationally, regionally, and certainly locally, could they become at least a minimal factor in decision making? Could buyers benefit from automated systems such as lighting or smart thermostats or smart power strips? Does the age of the equipment matter in decision making? Is there a way to positively impact a buyer's impression? And would any of this actually help the seller, as you just heard? And then finally, should Delaware create a certified green appraisers program, which is really sort of a benchmark to have to be able to appraise homes, the value based on the energy savings, which actually may be able to pay more for your mortgage in the future. So a couple of our programs that might be able to help um, home buyers or even sellers. Our flagship is Home Performance with Energy Star. So it's audits and incentives for residential energy efficiency. That could be air sealing, insulation, HVAC, water heater, whole home dehumidifiers. That's been pretty popular. And then all of this includes a blower door test to really determine the pressure and the air sealing of the home. So we have cases where homes are too tight. And so if you have a gas stove, we want you to actually vent out when you're using the gas stove. I know that one person mentioned indoor air quality. That's really paramount to indoor air quality. Whether you're, depending on your income range, it's either $25 or $50. And there's direct install measures such as light bulbs, um, just in case you don't already have LED lights. So while that program is tremendously popular and we see it grow every year with thousands of participants, our home energy checkup and counseling program, which really has really grown this year from about 800 assessments last year to I think we're on pace to do about 10,000 in about 9 months. It's a 1 hour in-home visit. It's an average of $240 of direct install measures. It's available statewide regardless of your income. For income eligible customers that may qualify for the Delaware Energy Fund or the Delmarva Power Customer Relief Fund. The Delaware Energy Fund is up to $300 on your utility bill. The Delmarva Power Customer Relief Fund is up to $500 on your utility bill. And really, this is a 1 hour in-home assessment. The direct install measures, if you don't already have LEDs or someone's going to sell their home and they don't already have LEDs, if you went through this program, we would actually install the LEDs for you. We would provide you with an air purifier, replace the shower head with a low flow shower head. Interestingly enough, those shower heads can save between $40 and $60 a year. And then the potential annual savings, if you did all the direct install measures, is about $190 a year. And so while somebody may be trying to sell their home, there are improvements that you can make prior to selling your home that might make it more attractive, specifically if you don't already have LED lighting or just maybe an air purifier or a smart thermostat. Speaking of smart thermostats, if you don't do anything else, at least go to the online marketplace. If you have buyers or sellers who may want a smart thermostat, they are greatly reduced on our marketplace, but usually about $150 is either 30 or free. You pay $5 or $10 for shipping. LED light bulbs, air purifiers, smart power strips, EV chargers, and a whole host more. And so one thing that we found in our experience is, when someone goes into a home, and I know that we're like very insular because we're thinking about this all the time. But if you don't have a smart thermostat, we live in an automated society where, everybody's attached to this thing. And we want all of our equipment attached to it as well. And so, you could put in a smart thermostat. You could buy it on our marketplace for, $30, or most of the time there's at least one that's free. And then if you have anybody outside of the residential system, we offer business technical assistance, which is no cost to any business. And we just kind of provide metrics on HVAC and the kind of savings that you would see there. And I want to go back to this slide quickly. So, I think one thing that, as I was putting together like a list of questions, I was using my own personal experience, which I think is really important. So while, I'm already thinking about energy, I wasn't in this role at the time when we were looking for our house. And we found a couple of houses that we absolutely love. And one in particular had an aged HVAC system that was about 25 years old. Um, I knew it had to be replaced. We had a tremendous realtor with us who was able to, acknowledge and highlight that, hey, this is going to have to be replaced. Um, and that was a real stumbling block for us. I didn't know that Energize Delaware um, could provide rebates to the level that we can. Depending on what you're replacing, it might be a $1,200 rebate on your HVAC system. Um, I can tell you that when I went to sell my house, I made HVAC upgrades because I wanted to leave the house better than how I found it. And I should have used the program that I now am responsible for. Um, but it certainly made a difference in the home that we were looking at, that we really loved, and ultimately didn't purchase and waited a whole extra year because of the HVAC system. I was concerned that it wasn't going to be enough for the home, that, I was going to spend a lot of money and then have to, spend $10,000 on replacing the HVAC system. It also wasn't automated. And so, for me as a buyer, I wanted more automated systems. Um, and so that actually made a deciding factor for me. And then I saw a comment earlier about solar, and I just wanted to highlight on solar. We have a solar education website, solardelaware.com. Hopefully, it can help folks understand the benefits of solar. Um, I am. I would just point out that there was a house that we also liked that had solar panels that were leased, and I wouldn't even go in the home because unless the buyer was willing to pay off the lease, I really didn't want anything to do with the solar panels on a lease system and absorbing that contract. Um, and a lot of this can be spelled out through educational resources, through solardelaware.com, which is a site that we set up just to provide education on solar panels. And then obviously some of the programs that are already run by us, or maybe others like DenRec, may offer programs that could actually benefit home buyers and home sellers to make homes more attractive. And hopefully we'll get to the point of creating certified green appraisers at some point to really add value to a home that has done a lot of energy efficiency work to really maximize savings. Because as we hear about utility costs, whether it is nationally, regionally, or even locally, high utility costs are here to stay for a while. And typically they don't go down, except maybe on the supply side as more generation comes online. But now that energy is being talked about a lot, I'm thinking that maybe it does minimally play a factor in decision making on home buying, or and maybe even just looking at the upgrades of a home. And so with that, I'm happy to answer any questions about our programs or any others.
Thank you, Drew. And thank you, Pamela, too. I'm going to bring her back on screen. Give me 1 second. There you are. Great. Drew, I know from personal experience, when I bought my house, I actually had called up Energize Delaware and had them do the whole assessment on my house. And I learned a lot of lessons in that process. I think they were there for about, I don't know, 3, 4 hours. I asked probably every question I possibly could about my house and different issues that I saw. They gave advice. So even just from an advice perspective, it was very helpful to go through the process. And then obviously the takeaways, you get the assessment with what you should probably do to update your house. That was very useful and helpful to determine kind of long term what we're going to invest in. So personal experience, I had a great experience with it.
Yeah, it can take 3 or 4 hours. It's actually just great to have on your home, especially if you're going to sell it, just to show kind of where your home stands. We do HERS rating scores. Some of our auditors will do the HERS scores to show you where your house stands. I thought I did it on my house. I thought it was very interesting that my house is actually too tight. Um, we've lived there for quite a while, so I didn't think that was going to be the case. Um, and you're telling us to vent when we're using our gas stove, either turn on a bathroom fan or open a back door, was valuable information just for an indoor air quality standpoint. And I see a comment in the chat about, so it is a whole house dehumidifier. Sorry.
Pamela, I know you were answering some of the questions in the chat. Did you want to point out any more for discussion?
No, well, I guess the appraiser comment is really important. I think that real estate agents are the first line, because it really is about how is a home priced, how is a home marketed, are these features called out? But we do want the homes to appraise correctly. And so I put in the chat a link to the appraisal registry, Green Home Valuation Registry. And I didn't do a search to see if Delaware had any that had passed all the tests and made it into the registry. Typically, there aren't that many per state. So that could be a growth opportunity.
Drew, I think the one question there then, and what you just answered. There you go.
Yeah. So it's typically $25 to $50. It can be 100 for a home above 3,500 square feet. It depends on the auditor. Some will charge $100, others will keep it at 50. We pay the difference of the cost. And then to Pamela's point, we've had green appraisers. You can't see my back scribble, but green appraisers has been on that list for quite a while. I would love to have some green appraisers in Delaware, especially if it can benefit the housing market. It could really help those that have invested a lot in their homes. If you have a new HVAC system, and it's been sized appropriately, and you've done weatherization, I think that you should try and maximize that opportunity.
Yep, definitely. Well, does anybody else have any questions?
Actually, Wes, this is Barbara. I want to actually jump in and say we do have actually green appraisers, folks that are in Delaware or across Delaware that are will be counted in Delaware. But I want to say we had a conversation with Wes earlier when we got in touch, and he told us about how they have challenges even getting appraisers because there is, I want to say, limited availability of appraisers, which actually brought in like not only we need to educate them about green elements, but also maybe helping workforce development. So I want to kind of just encourage Wes to be a part of the conversation and connecting to appraisers. And I want to add, as someone who has done the energy audit, there is additional benefit of the energy assessment with Energize Delaware. If your system breaks down and you want to go replace your water heater or your heat pump or gas furnace, you need to have that energy audit to qualify for rebates. And there are generous rebates. They make a difference between getting a more efficient one for your home, which with the utility prices as we are, will make a huge difference. So I want to put out a pitch as a Delawarean that has done energy audit 5 years ago, and then went and got energy rebates for my water heater, for my heating system replacement, and everything we have done to kind of say the value of this energy assessment. You will get more than the $25, $50 that you may pay, in addition to information that was noted. It's just it's definitely invaluable experience.
Oh yeah, $100 is for the amount of knowledge you get with it. That alone pays for it. All right. I don't see any other questions. Drew, do you want to have any closing words? And then Pamela?
Sure. So I just want to thank you, Wes, for the opportunity, for the invitation. Anytime we get to share energy efficiency or talk about education, how to save money, we believe that the cheapest, cleanest energy is the energy that we don't consume at all. And so any ability to help home buyers or home sellers to try to make the sale share energy efficiency upgrades is a great opportunity for us. So thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Pam?
And Wes, one of the real estate participants will win a free energy audit. Again, a generous offer from Energize Delaware. So I want to say somebody on this call will be getting an energy audit.
Yeah, yes, thank you. I think we'll be doing that after the fact, so I appreciate you reminding me. But yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, thank you, Drew, for offering that up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I know from a real estate perspective that it's hard to study for something that's not on the test, essentially, that buyers are not asking for these things, and sellers may not know to bring up the upgrades that they've done. And this really is about you having different conversations with your clients than anybody else is having. When you can let people know about all the rebates that are available, you reach out to your sphere of influence and let them know about these upgrades, and then let them know that you know how to market them. You have a resource to help you market those upgrades when they do that. That makes a big difference in when you sit down with someone who you've just converted into, who's become a seller. And then you've let your buyers know that, the most amount of money they're going to spend, for the most part, they're spending a lot of money when they first move in, and they might want to make some of these home performance upgrades and to introduce them to this money that's available. That's a pretty big win.
I agree. Those are great closing words. So thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to us here at the association. We can connect you the best that we can. And with that, have a great afternoon, everyone. Thank you.